I love you, John. Tonight on Dave and John TV.
It's John and Dave TV.
And welcome back to a new exciting episode of John and Dave TV. And John, leaves are changing colors.
Yes, which I've been hoping for, because in my business I like that. That's when all the clients come to me. They want the fall pictures.
The beautiful fall. Yeah,
exactly.
It makes good backdrop. Eh?
It makes great backdrop, and but it makes a mess.
Does it ever? You know, I have.
You have a bigger property.
I have
than
3
me,
acres.
So.
I really want to be raking 3. I don't even rake anymore. I just use a lawnmower, just mash it all up, leave it there, and let winter do whatever.
I know a lot of people who do that actually. I just rake it up myself.
I'm just lazy. Even branches. You know, after winter comes and all the branches are left in your property that fell over winter.
Yeah.
I just lawnmower, whack it up. You know, even if it's like this thick there, I still eat that up the lawnmower. The blade's done, but it's working fine.
We scoop in a pile and put in the green bin to go out for the green bin pickup.
Yeah, but you don't have a backyard.
I do, but not as big as yours, of course. I mean, but it's a fair size still.
I guess.
Yeah.
So our next guest.
Yes. Who's going to be competition for you today?
Well, yeah. Well,
you know I can't not talk about it.
Yeah, actually, the last episode you didn't mention a word about it.
I didn't mention a word. I was being nice.
And now, because you already knew what the guest is.
Yeah.
To be honest, the guest came in the studio, and I had to tell him to leave because there's a bit of jealousy going on.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
anyways,
And you'll see what we mean in a second there.
so our guest
Yes.
today owns a landscaping company.
He does. More than landscaping.
More than
yes.
landscaping, yeah. Cleans up your yard and makes sure that it's every season.
Basically,
make sure everything's taken care of.
Basically property management almost, basically.
Why do we need him as a guest? I'm actually telling you everything that he does, but I'm sure you want to hear from him. And it's the only reason why I'm dragging this out, because I just don't want you guys to see his face and see how wonderful it is. Well, welcome our guest, Earl Collen. Welcome from Valley Cleanup Services. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome. So, give us a little background. We do this with every guest. We want to get a little background on who you are before we get into the business, and what brought you to Valley, or if you're born and raised in the Valley. Give us a little history about Earl.
I was born and raised in Oshawa, down in the GTA, and I worked down there for most of my life until about 21 years old. At that time, I took off and went out and explored BC for a little bit for about 6 years, and then took off from there and decided I better start working, and went up to Fort McMurray and tried working up there, but there's not a whole lot to do there but work and drink and fight. So we pretty much and so I made a whole lot of money and spent a whole lot of money and came back broke and didn't want to go and do it again. So we started my electrical company in Oshawa at that point in time, and then eventually I moved up here because we have a cottage on Golden Lake, and then I met my wife in Pembroke, and now I'm stuck.
Yeah. It must have been the beard too. The beard attracted her, had to be.
Well, I don't think I had the beard at that time.
Oh, no.
I think it was just a goatee at that time, and I think
I'm trying to picture him with just a goatee.
I think she even made me shave that off for the wedding pictures.
Yeah.
That is hilarious, because for my wedding, my wife made me shave off for the wedding. And if you look at my wedding photos, the photographer that we had was awesome. No, it was not John, but we had an awesome photographer. But then on some photos, you can see where she didn't blend stuff, and I literally shaved the day before the wedding. Yeah. So my face was kind of reddish, like from tan, but the beard was like completely white. Oh, so it looked like I had like half of my face white and then the red.
That's
anyways.
Funny.
It's kind of funny you mentioned that. I did shave for my wedding.
If I grow a mustache right now, we all get glasses, and we could be ZZ Top here. Sorry, I had to. I had to bring that in somehow. So you moved up here from Oshawa. I'm from the GTA myself. I'm born and raised in the GTA. So you came up from here. Now, what did you start? You had an electrical company, you said.
I had an electrical company. I was down in the GTA, but unfortunately with arthritis and stuff, my fingers just didn't want to twist tiny wires anymore. And the way that the industry is going, everything's getting smaller and smaller with PLCs and robotics and all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of wasn't working anymore. And then I had some back issues, and so I ended up on disability, and then I just couldn't handle being on disability and sitting around doing nothing. So we started working, and we started a company called Valley Cleanup. It was supposed to be just a cleanup service. We bought a $600 pickup truck, just a junker, and we got that on the road somehow. And we were going to go around and just pick up scrap metal during cleanup weeks just to make a couple extra bucks, and it kind of just ballooned from there.
Wow.
Oh, awesome.
That's a good way to start. Start small, work your way up.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I know a guy that lives in Cobden. He's actually one of those you pick up the phone and call, and literally, I don't think there's a thing that you can't call them and have them do. You know, and I'm pretty much, I'm sure it's pretty much the same with you also. You know, like I need my hedges trimmed, he'll
Yeah.
come by and trim my hedges, pick up my garbage. If I have a wasp nest on my house, he's actually brave enough to go grab it with his hand, knock it down, and get rid of the wasp.
I'm not. That's not bravery. That's stupidity. But,
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not that brave. I
So you
guess,
started with one little pickup truck,
Yeah.
and started with the scrap metal, and then how did it evolve from there?
Well, actually, we didn't even get to do any scrap metal. I ended up finding an advertisement in the paper. Some lady was looking to have a barn demolished, and it was absolutely full of stuff. I went and took a look at it, and she was looking for somebody that had insurance and was, reputable and all that kind of stuff. And because of the previous business experience I had, I kind of knew the direction that we had to go on that. So we wrote up a contract for her, and we got started, and we started demolishing the barn. It was an entire summer-long project to get everything out of those barns, and I think we went through 28 dumpsters.
Oh, wow.
Full of junk and garbage, and then there was 3 barns that had to be torn down. One was, I think it was 60 feet by about 120 feet, and then there was a couple smaller barns, but they had 3 levels, and the barns were sinking into the ground, so all the stuff that was in the lower levels, like tractors and old equipment and stuff like that, had gotten squished down in, so everything was kind of in a compactor that was kind of halfway through its compaction cycle, and so we had to try and play pickup sticks and figure out how to pull out one piece at a time until we could get it cleared out. But that's basically how it started. And on that job, when we were pulling the barn down, we started tugging on it with the truck, and the transmission blew, so that was the end of that truck. But luckily, it was a lucrative job, so we were able to go out and purchase ourselves a new 2500, which helped do a lot more work because it's a heavier duty truck, and we ended up putting a plow on the front of it, so we started doing snow removal with the snow plow, and we were doing snow blowers the year before that anyways, but it just gave us more options and more flexibility with the type of clientele, because not everybody wants to have their property plowed, and not everybody can snow blow their driveway. So
Exactly.
it all depends on what kind of property you have.
It almost sounds like that show Hoarders. That's all
Well,
I was
we've
thinking
done
about
a-
when he was talking about it.
We've done a few hoarder houses.
Yeah.
We do, because we do estate clean outs and stuff as well, and we do hoarder houses. So we had one house that we did. It was, I won't say even the city where it is. I don't want to embarrass anybody.
No,
but,
that's good.
But we walked into the place, and the guy was quite well off. Everything that he had was good,
Yeah.
and it was, some of it was from, the 70s or 80s, but it was all top of the line, brand new stuff, tons of stuff still in boxes, but the whole house was about waist deep with stuff. Every room you went into, plus all the furniture and everything. So we ended up going in there. I think that took about 5 or 6 days with the 6-guy crew in order to clean out the entire property. And I think we went through about 10 dumpsters on that one. And I still have 3 storage units that are semi-full of junk from there that I just can't bring myself to throw it out.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We were supposed to have an auction at the beginning of the year, but because of the
Yeah.
stuff that happened, we're not able to have an auction, and we're not allowed to have a yard sale from the storage unit. So
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's too bad.
Maybe in the future, you never know.
yeah, well, we'll have to haul it out somewhere. Just put it out in the middle of the road somewhere. Drive by yard sale.
So maybe we'll start with summer, springtime type of services that you offer. If a client needs certain stuff done at their house, what kind of things will you do, and what kind of stuff don't you do? Because I'm sure you get a lot of people calling you saying, hey, can you do this? And you're like, sorry, that's not our forte, but...
Yeah, but luckily we're in BNI, so I
Yeah.
know how to pass some stuff off to other people or subcontract some stuff out. But as a rule, we do pretty much everything. I mean, there's not a whole lot that we don't do. I mean, more like if we run out of time or don't have the manpower is the only reason we turn down pretty much any job. But basically the company's going in the direction that the services are required. So
Okay.
it's kind of a fluid kind of company. So
cutting grass.
yeah, so in the springtime we do a lot of grass cutting, a lot of spring cleanups, so dumpster rentals we do as well, and we go out and we'll use our dump trailer and we'll clean out houses and take the stuff to the dump and do that. So we like doing junk removal. A lot of the fun jobs are the estate clean out jobs and stuff like that, or march outs where the military is moving, they're going to another place, so we actually have a service where we'll go in and clean out their place, and then we bring in cleaners afterwards and clean the place, and we take care of the security deposit that they've paid so that they're guaranteed to get the deposit back, but it basically just goes to us anyways. So, but then they can just pick up and leave, and whatever they don't want to take with them, they just leave behind, and then they can just go, and they don't have to worry about coming back. So That's one of the services. And then, of course, like you say, lawn care is the bread and butter of our business. So for the spring and summer.
Is it just cutting grass, or like I saw a presentation of yours this morning, and you were showing different things you were doing with like different rock formation stuff and that. So do you do more? Is it just cutting the lawn, or do you actually do the actual like gardening, things like that? Or
yeah, we have a few different divisions in the company. So we have a crew that does nothing but basically landscaping, and then we have nothing but grass cutting, and then they help us out on the landscaping side occasionally. And then we have a gardener that she does all the gardening basically, and we have landscapers that come in and do the landscaping. It's basically, I have to try and get as much work as I can for the guys and just try to keep everybody busy, but I try to be on the jobs as much as possible, but the company's just growing leaps and bounds, and it's hard to keep up, to be honest.
very cool.
So now we talk summer, spring, and then any specialized services for the fall or winter, or